Working on your live stream. We're live. Hey, what's up, 1% Nation? Sorry for the 3-minute delay, but you guys know how the stream situation goes. And you will see 3 people on here. This is Hamza, Sadhu, and Ashton. I don't know if Ashton is going to have his webcam up. I think he should if he's going to be in here. But we were trying to do a group. They got board members here. We were trying to do a group live stream, but I keep messing up this audio stuff. We try to do a whole other platform, but it is what it is. What's up? So we're jumping right into questions. Do some shout outs here. Sadhu is here. Sadhu's on the board. Thanks so much. Kevaki, Blood Killers, what's up? How we doing? Joshua, how we doing? Hamza's in here. Robert Torres, I see you again. What's up, man? Mr. Manny, hi. Guys, if you're not in the Discord, I want to let you know we have a Discord channel with 800 engineers in there from all over the world. Ashton, let's figure out how to discover how many countries we have represented in the Discord. Let's do that. But guys, we're gonna have a little bit of the team members in here. They're not gonna be able to talk because I messed up more audio settings. But if you get into the Discord channel for 1% Engineer, what you have the ability to do is ask questions that can get on this live stream, okay? So that's a really powerful thing. The access to the Discord is in any video that comes up. Follow the links in the description. You have really cool stuff. Access to the Discord, the 1% Engineer Kit, and also you can download our sponsorship free ability to have a portfolio. It's on thangs.com. You also have access to the IG page. Those are the 4 things. So I think we're going to take it right over to the top questions in Discord and just get started because we announced earlier today that we're going to be doing this live stream Q&A. For those of you who might be here for the first time, 1% Engineer is a organization for empowering young engineers. There's a YouTube show with 124 episodes all about choosing majors, all about how to successfully get through engineering university, and also how to actually land that job, land internships in year 2, 3, and 4. So those are the big things. And we have a big project that we're working on for the rest of the fall, which is essentially the 1% Engineer remote internship. Can't get an internship because of COVID-19? Do it yourself. Big ups to Hamza and Sadhu who are working on that project right now. And again, big shout out to Ashton, who is our director of Discord. I know you guys won't be able to hear these 3 on the stream, but we're doing this stream in the future. We're going to get it. We're going to get this stream right. Okay, we're going to get this stream right. All right, so let's take the first question. Ashton, where can I find the top Discord question? I wouldn't mind it to go in that shared document, but if you have that handy or any ability to like drop it into our chat or that document. Oh, this is it. Okay, first question. I'd love to know who it is. That's one thing so I can shout them out who it was. So if you can look that up, that'd be great. It says, here's the question, and I'll give you a shout out for your question right away. Again, go into the Discord, guys. You'll figure it out, or you can drop your questions right into the chat right now, and then Hamza, Sadhu, Ashton are going to help me figure out the top question. So this question, hey Jake, on the stream, could you talk a bit about starting a content channel or blog like you referenced in your YouTube video about what engineers should do in their free time? Specifically, how to go about choosing content or projects that can be utilized to showcase your skills and interests at future job prospects. I'm a mechanical engineer and I'm interested in aerospace specifically. Okay, so I find this to be kind of a 2-part question. So the first one is, I really think it's a powerful thing to start an engineering blog or start an engineering Instagram or start an engineering podcast, or like what I've done, start an engineering YouTube show. Okay, I cannot tell you the eyebrows that I get that raise up like, wait, you have a YouTube channel with 70,000 subscribers, and even if it was 150 subscribers, if I told people that I have a YouTube show about engineering with 20 episodes, people would react to that. They do react to that, because how many people have you ever met who run their own engineering blog? It doesn't have to be, nobody cares how many readers you have, but you went through the diligence to actually post this content, show your passion, align yourself with the actual niche of the blog, and you've done things to really stand out, okay? So it almost doesn't matter what it is, but doing something like starting a podcast, even having an Instagram page or a Tumblr with curated engineering images that you comment on, doing something that shows your thought leadership, and you put it on the internet, and then you can share it on LinkedIn so that people see it, right? It's not that cool to have a blog and then never talk about it and keep it a secret. There's a book called Show Your Work. You really have to do that. So that's the answer to that question. Ashton, are we able to track down who asked that question? If that's really hard, then don't dig. It's okay. You can say it. I can hear you. They just can't hear you, and it's okay. What's the person's name?
Oh, Katana.
Katana, yeah, thank you so much for that question. Second part, specifically how to go about choosing content or projects that can be utilized to showcase your skills and interests at a future job prospect.
Oh, they're in the chat.
Oh, they're in the chat. Great. I'm so happy that you're here in the chat. Katana, or however you say it, thank you so much for this question. So I find that this question is a little different. So everyone, excuse me, everyone should be finding projects or building experience around something that can show their skills and show their experience. It's kind of like what seniors in university have to do. They have to build a portfolio of the projects that they've worked on. Your blog or your podcast, it doesn't have to be about projects. It could just be about news, right? It could just be about things that you like. It doesn't really matter. So you have much more flexibility with the first part of your question. That's why I've partitioned these. But essentially, this is what we're doing with this how to do a remote internship, a 1% engineer internship plan, is we are going to have a list of projects. We're actually going to reach out to companies and universities about specifically what their senior design projects are and specifically what the issues that these companies are having right now so that we can give you real world projects and the ability to download softwares and maybe even some tutorials and resources about how to even get these projects started so that you can get a portfolio so that you can get a job. To get you started, Katrina, Catherine, there it is. That's the one, Catherine. So to get you started, we made a video maybe 10 videos ago called What Should Engineers Do in Their Free Time? There's a whole bunch of examples about subreddits and places that you can kind of get started to build things. Why don't you go over to our sponsor, thangs.com, follow the links in the description, and you can actually get started with a free platform to start so you can be showing modeling, building modeling, I guess renders, and showing your work, showing the things that you work on. Guys, really quickly, do we know if Revit or SketchUp or anyway, we got to figure out a way to get these free SolidWorks to get it for free for 1% Nation so that that's an action item that we're going to do for you, Catherine. Great. I hope that answered your question. If you're specifically wondering about mechanical engineering and aerospace, what's that aerospace engineering software, Hamza? I'm like drawing a blank on that. What's it called?
Open Rocket.
Open Rocket. Catherine, download Open Rocket.
It's called Open Rocket.
Great. Awesome. So if you have another question, Ashton, thank you so much for that first one. Thank you for that question, Katrina. How's the chat looking? How many people we got in here? 24 people. Let me know where you're from. Hit the like button. Smash that like button, guys, because if you do that, this live stream will bump up into more engineers' feeds right now. A couple more shout-outs. Char, what's up? Hilda, what's up? Catherine, thank you for being here. Kevi Panchel, thank you so much. What's good? All right, guys. So the next question that I'm going to jump into is one from Discord. Savage Trojan today at 11 a.m. asked, what a crazy name. If I wanted to go to a top-ranking computer science school like the University of Waterloo, it's one of the best engineering schools in Canada, probably the best, or University of Toronto, another leading university in Toronto, what should I be doing in high school to make my application really stand out? I've heard it's super hard to get into both schools, especially for computer science, but I do pretty well in school. I lead and I'm a part of a few clubs and I play volleyball. I take computer science engineering courses in my high school. Is there anything else I should really do? It's so funny when engineers ask questions because they find this need to like give you the whole novel. It's like all these extra pieces of context, which really helps when you're doing a deep dive into a question, but it just cracks me up. It's nothing negative, guys. It just makes me laugh. Engineers are just so thorough. Okay, so essentially what this person is asking is, how do I stand out? How can I beef up my resume, my appearance, my stature, so that you can get selected at these super competitive schools? Okay, so what they said basically is they play sports. That's great. Everybody does that. And he says with a name like Savage Trojan, for some reason I think it's a male. I say he, but they lead they say I lead and I'm a part of a few clubs. So first of all, that alone. Okay, leading a club or founding a club, it doesn't take much to found a club. All you need is 2-3 friends. You could start a rocket club. You could start a robotics club. You could start a hackathon thing and just get together with your friends and do these things yourself. But if you founded something, and then again, if you made a free blog about it, or you created an Instagram page, or you put those articles on LinkedIn about this club that you founded, leadership and ambition and getting something started from scratch is highly desirable by anyone who's going to be doing the selection, because nobody does that. Nobody takes a risk and goes out on a limb. So leading a club or starting a club is really good. Otherwise, what you got to do really, truly is build this portfolio. So you got to actually go to the subreddits and look at the projects that people are building at home. Go ahead and actually start that blog, right? Like, do something to stand out. Other things that you can do, I really think that if in your essays, sorry, what's the other example, Hamza?
I was going to say, talk about Sam and what he's done. And
Oh, okay. Here's another great. So we have
So
we have a board member who we were considering building like an entrepreneurial side of 1% Engineer. We're maybe taking a back seat for that right now, but we have a team member named Sam from British Columbia, also Canadian. Lives outside of UBC. He actually goes to UBC. I can hear somebody's TV on the stream over there, Sadhu or Hamza or Ashton. I don't know who's it, but I can hear it. It's really distracting. What he did was he started essentially it's a power generation, nuclear power reactor, okay, and a project. And he called it a company, and they tried to get funding, and then essentially created this project and this website and this brand to really make himself stand out among all the other engineers that he may be competing with. So just starting something and putting it on the internet and showing it is really good. Another way, and I think I did this in my application, I know I did, by the way, is if you in your essay, okay, if in your essay you storytell about the fact that you knew that you wanted to be an engineer since you were 8 years old, and I'm so passionate about changing the world, and this is my life's mission to go on and make you proud and literally leave an impact and do things like that, I think you can actually stand out that way. Not like, oh, I'm good at math and my uncle Bill told me to be an engineer. Like, no one cares. Like, have some sort of deep story about how, like, when you were 12, you did this and it changed your whole perspective on the world. And story tell about why you're applying, okay? That can really make you stand out. I'm not going to dive too much into that as well. Is there another question from Discord? Ashton, otherwise I'm going to move on to Potato from Swamp. So, Savage Trojan, I can't remember if you're here.
No, you keep going.
Okay. Excuse me. I only have 5 or 6 questions here. What about from the live stream? What about questions from the actual chat right now? I'd love to see what the top one.
Hamza between Hamza and Sid, that was like actually real time.
Okay, yeah, Hamza or Sidhu, if you have a question from them, that'd be great. That was kind of what we were trying to do. Otherwise, this question is Potato from Swamp. So This is a Polish engineer. Do you got one, Hamza?
Yeah, actually, Robert Torres. I think this is a really good question.
Great.
How do you add value to a company as a intern and entry-level engineer, not knowing much as an engineer that has been in the industry for a couple of years?
Yeah, let's copy paste in the chat because you're just silent, and I don't even know. So I'm gonna move on to another question, but I need it to be copy pasted, please. Thank you so much, Hamza. Okay, Potato.
No, it is in the live stream.
Yeah, but I can't like scroll through it. I need you to copy paste it for me, please, in one of these chats or that Google document that I shared. Okay, I'm moving on to this Potato from Swamp question. This is a Polish engineer. They say, I ain't no professional engineer. I'm a farmer who only makes machines for himself. Replanters, silos. What would you recommend for lacking in technical skills to improve project drawing skills like guides, books, and videos? Okay, so what you got to do is go get some sort of AutoCAD, some sort of Autodesk, or Bentley's MicroStation. These and just start actually taking your skills and making designs in a computer-aided drafting environment. That's the top suggestion I can give for you. SketchUp and Revit, but being able to take your hands-on and your actual like instinctive engineering abilities, and then instead of just doing that and just doing it, like my dad's a carpenter, okay? He can look at a blueprint and build anything, but I don't know if that would translate to AutoCAD and actually being able to design and then innovate on a design. You see what I mean? So you need to kind of level it up. Almost treat yourself. Look up what being an engineering technician is like, okay? Which is a lot of drafting and a lot of things like that. That's my biggest suggestion. So is there a new question in this document? Here you go. Robert Torres, thank you so much, Hamza. So Hamza is, man, my throat is all scratchy. I worked out right before this, so and coughing himself up. Okay, thank you, Hamza, for that. Robert Torres, you've been in a lot of live streams, so I want to give you a big shout out. Thank you so much. Where are you from, Robert? Are you from the States? Or are you from around the world? How do you add value to a company as an intern, an entry-level engineer, knowing not much as an engineer that has been in the industry for a couple years? What a great question, Hamza. You're exactly right. I'm really glad that you picked out this question. Props to the team, Hamza and Robert, working together here. So This is a really good question because the response is not going to be what you expect. Okay, you don't have expectations when you show up as an engineer. As an intern. They think you're going to be a shithead. They don't think you're going to know anything. They think that literally it's like, Harry Potter at Hogwarts. You're this kid, 10-year-old kid who gets off the train and you don't know anything about this world. That's literally what it's like. So the best thing that you can do to add value to a company is show up with the right attitude. Okay, a lot of people are afraid to say, like, what does success look like in your eyes? Like, what should I be doing? Talk to your supervisor or your boss, and literally if you show up and you're like, what is the best type of intern I could be? Like, ask them these questions and they will tell you what their expectations are, and then you can exceed them. Okay, you can show up a little bit early, you can stay a little bit late, you can ask lots of questions. A lot of interns are afraid to make mistakes and afraid to ask questions. And what they do is they just sit at their desk and waste time. Don't do that, okay? What they want you to do is fail fast, fail early, figure stuff out, and add value just by doing your best, okay? And then imagine the amplification of things like if you're actually starting your own website to show your work. You can talk about their company. Imagine if you had a blog and you're talking about what you're doing during your internship and you're bringing like promotional content. I need to get some water, guys. I'm sorry. What if you're bringing additional promotional content to their company and you're actually blogging about them, you're podcasting about them, you have an Instagram about them, but you have some way to share your experiences more deeply about the internship, right? Things like this. You could even do things like you could incorporate the work that you've done back into your projects at school. You could do something where you're being a liaison between your university and them, for example, just like what we're talking about. We're talking about taking a company project and then working on it more deeply. So you could even go to a professor and say, hey, what would you think about me potentially like bringing in a real world project that I was working on as an intern into the classroom and dissecting these problems a little bit more deeply? Then you can go back to your intern provider and say, hey, we're working on this thing. We figured this out, right? It's just about being creative and wanting to show up in any way possible and bringing the best attitude. And that's what you're not expected, but that's how you could really crush it as an intern. And what's the point of interning? That they hire you afterwards, potentially, if you like it and if it's the right fit. So Robert Torres, I hope that was a sufficient answer. Hit us with another question if you have one. I know you do. Great. 34 people in there. Smash that like button. Go ahead and join Discord so we can get questions going for future live streams. We're going to be doing this every Thursday. I think 8 p.m. is the time. Guys, if 8 p.m. works in the chat, drop a little 1. If you like 8 p.m. Thursday, if it works, drop a 1 if you like it. If it doesn't, if this time isn't great for you, drop a 2. If you'd like another day, like Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday is just kind of the day we went with. But smash that like button so more people can find this. Drop your question in the chat. Guys, okay, another question from Discord today. Risa4, what are the types of jobs I can get with a civil engineering degree, especially if I focus on structural? Also, do you need a lot of experience to be a site manager? I love these two-part questions because they don't have anything to do with each other. So structural engineers basically design bridges or buildings, okay? But technically, there's a whole bunch of other stuff within structural engineering that isn't even design. I have a lot of bridge engineering friends who all they do is inspection after inspection after inspection after report. They travel, they do hikes. My friend Grant, who was on this live stream a week or two ago, he does these like 7 to 10 day trips where they go out and inspect like 135. It'd be the equivalent of like the Appalachian Trail, like bridges on the trail around what they call Vancouver Island, way out west. And then I have friends who are up climbing the massive suspension towers of bridges and then doing reports and doing those types of inspections. So those are the main things that I know about within structural engineering. Otherwise, you're just doing a lot of planning work and going through the codes and going through. I've always found structural engineering to be a little bit boring, but it's like going through the manuals and the manuscripts and actually just going through the refs. Man, I should not have worked out right before this. I'm like,
Drake smoke a flat bun.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it is. Also, do you need a lot of experience to be a site manager? Well, you kind of answered the question yourself, Risa, because to be a manager, you need to be able to manage other people, which means you need to know what you're talking about and know what you're doing. So I wouldn't even worry about that yet, because usually a site manager is not going to be someone who doesn't have their PE yet, things like that. And just you saying site manager, it makes me believe that you're talking about construction engineering and construction management instead of structural engineering. Structural engineering is never going to be on the job site. Those guys do most of the design or the inspection. In terms of a site manager, that's just a very construction, like the actual building of the building. That's more of the construction management. Structural engineering and construction construction management, I feel like I misspoke. Structural engineering and construction management or construction engineering, they work together, kind of like architecture and structural engineering, but they are yin and yanging one another, right? So the site managers are there with the deployment and the actual execution. It's more about budgeting. It's more about timing. It's more about scheduling and Gantt charting and keeping everything on track and making sure that things actually went in properly. It's almost no design, okay? You don't design. If you're going to be a site manager, you're not going to do design. So you kind of have to decide early on about that. Unless there's a new, okay, great. Joshua Wiki, thanks. If you're in the chat, go ahead and let me know. Do architects design subterranean facilities as well as terranean facilities and buildings, or do geotechnicals only design subterranean facilities? Okay, great question. Okay, so an architect would not design a subterranean facility because an architect, what they're doing is they're looking a lot at the cohesion between a building or a system with other systems. They're also looking at the aesthetic. They're making sure that things flow and work properly. When you get into geotechnical engineering, nobody cares about that. You're not integrating something under the ground into other things. They just gotta kind of have to work, right? There's not any sort of it's not as much of an architectural integration. So what geotechnical engineers do is they do foundations, they do retaining walls, they do footings, they do, if you ever seen those massive radio towers, guys, they have these big freaking stay cables. Those stay cables are going into the ground with these insane anchors that go deep into the ground with almost like a broadhead arrow. So it goes in and it can't come back out. And so these are things that geotechnical engineers work on. And for the most part, it has nothing to do. Also, a lot of like runoff and groundwater, making sure that things are working properly, because under the ground is crazy. If you guys want to look into a sophisticated, very interesting field that nobody talks about, geotechnical engineering is insane because there's so many mysteries. There's so many ways to mess it up, and you never really know. You can never really be 100% sure because it's way too expensive to scope and to do the exploration. It's really, really crazy. It's a nuts field. At University of Delaware, I had a world-renowned geotechnical engineering professor, and he used to tell us crazy stories. So great question. Another question by Robert Torres. Let's also make sure I just want to make sure that people in the stream, everybody in the stream is getting looked after, because it is hard. The more I just flow, it's harder to like actually go back and look at the stream. So I trust you guys. Okay. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you, Sadhu. Thank you, Ashton, for dropping questions in this. Another one by Robert Torres. What's the hardest thing about having a career in engineering, such as brainstorming, stress, meeting company expectations? Wow. Robert, why don't you let me know? Actually, I'm just going to answer. Okay, so honestly, guys, this is how I want to answer this question. So engineering is a big business, okay? Engineering companies make a lot of money, and the way that engineering is going is that the bigger companies gobble up the smaller companies all the time, and it really is this big behemoth mechanized factory-like model, so that you finish a project as fast as you can and move on to the next one and make a ton of money. Honestly, there's a lot of that in engineering, and because of that, think about SpaceX and Tesla, right? Those companies, they work hard, okay? And I've never really worked 40-hour weeks in engineering. You work a lot. You might work 50-hour weeks. You might have to work late, 12-hour days. You might have to work on weekends. I'll never forget. My boss asked me to work. We had this deadline in Vancouver, and I worked all weekend. I put in 2 8-hour days, Saturday and Sunday. I burned my weekend for this freaking company and worked literally 12 days in a row. And then I went to him a couple weeks later, and because my girlfriend at the time, worked at a hospital, so she did a lot of weekend work. And she was off like Tuesday and Wednesday, and I was like, hey, his name was Ken Curry. He's a fucking dick, and I'll say that on stream, and I hope somebody sends this to him, okay? Works for Parsons, and he knows. He knows. And I went to him in his office, and I was like, hey, Ken, remember that weekend that we all worked? There was multiple of us that did this. I was like, hey, I was really thinking. I told him the whole story. I was honest with him. We were going to do like a day trip, go up and go hiking somewhere awesome in Vancouver. And I was like, I really would appreciate it if I could take like 2 days off later this week. It was like coming up in 2 or 3 days. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. Like, we can't really just take off time right now. And basically told me no right to my face. And I'm like, what the are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, it was ridiculous. But, it's not quite like big banking, and it's not quite like being a lawyer. But being an engineer, this is a part of the reason why you make so much money and you get so much societal respect, is because it's hard. You got to work hard. You got to be smart. You got to be able to communicate. You have to be a 1% engineer, honestly, to make it in the world. And so that part alone, Robert, is kind of the most challenging thing about engineering. It's not the hardest academic part, like the figuring it out part, is in university. If you can survive sophomore year of university, that's the hardest year of your whole life. It really is. Unless you end up working for SpaceX and running a team, then of course it's a whole different ballpark, right? But honestly, it's just the culture of the work ethic. Now, if you end up in the public sector, that's different, right? If you work for Department of Transportation or Department of Defense, that's totally different. But most of you are going to end up working for a big engineering firm like AECOM or Jacobs, or I don't even know. I need to know these big companies. Can somebody write that down for me, Hamza or Sadhu? What are the biggest companies for electrical engineers and mechanical engineers? I guess I kind of know. Like Siemens hires a ton of mechanical engineers. I think they have like hundreds of thousands of employees. I think it's 400,000. Maybe I'm thinking of IBM. All right, great. Couple more questions. Hilda, your question's coming up. Michael David, your question's coming up. Go ahead and smash that like button. The average amount of time that somebody stays in the live stream is only 3 minutes. So at any given time, there's like 35 people in here, but most of you just showed up. So let's make sure that you guys are smashing that like button. Go ahead and join the Discord server, guys. I know a bunch of you are new here. So jump into the Discord, and you can drop your questions into this chat ahead of time. And then also go ahead and download 1% Thanks. Go ahead and look over to our sponsors. Go get a portfolio started. You can upload your renders. You can upload your things on thangs.com. It's a free platform, so go check it out. Start an account today. It's free. It helps the show. Next question. Thanks, guys. So, Hilda, right now, I have an internship as a traffic engineer. So, guys, just so you know, I was a civil engineer in university, went into transportation, and then went into traffic engineering. And then within traffic engineering, I worked in this field called ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems. So this is like my wheelhouse, okay? Hilda, right now I have an internship as a traffic engineer, but I want to focus more in water. Would companies still want to give me an internship in water even though I've had experience in traffic? This is so funny to me. I'm going to yell from across the room as I go grab a beer. Okay, so Hilda, you are not expected to pick the type of engineering that you want to do out the gate and just know what you want to do for the rest of your life. You're supposed to experiment. You're supposed to jump around. You're supposed to be a traffic engineer who's interested in water, who might be interested in geotechnical, who might be interested in this other thing. That's how it goes. In fact, most professionals start off in one type of engineering, and then about 3 to 4 years, they realize like, oh, I don't like this as much as I thought. I want to give something else a try. That's why most of you who are planning your master's degree before you even have your undergraduate degree and a single day of true professional work experience under your belt, you have no clue what you want for your master's degree because you haven't even worked a day to know if you like the thing that you think you want to study for another 2 years to then study for the rest of your life. Because once you get that master's degree, you don't really want to pivot. So in your phase, Hilda, it is entirely acceptable to get an internship in different fields. That's actually the point, is to really explore what you like so that you don't make the wrong decision stepping into a career that is just the wrong thing and then you wasted your time. So no, you have all the authority and all the ability to do whatever you want. This beer is called Miss Pavilion River. It's local and it's freaking called Space Otter, and there's an astronaut as an otter on the front. So 1% Nation, this is what it is. Real 1% engineers drink nerdy drinks, okay? This is what it is. All right, so that's the last question. Oh, no, sorry, Michael David. That's the last question I have in this document. So any interesting questions that you guys see in the live stream, could you please continue to drop them into this document? That is our queue. Michael David, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. because it allows me to just flow and rip, and I don't have to like look through. Because the thing with that chat, this is what I was saying, Hamza, is like I can't just look at it because I have to take time to see where I was, and then it's moving. It's actually really hard. It's impossible to do both. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing here. I know 1% Nation, you're probably like, who are these other 3 people? So these are board members for 1% Engineer. Hamza's been with me for 3-4 years. He's the director of operations. Sadhu is heading up this project where we're building a 1% Engineer internship, remote internship starter kit. And over here, Ashton, big ups to you as the director of our Discord channel. We have 800 engineers in the Discord, and Ashton keeps all that straight for me because I have no idea what's going on there half the time. Who is in the Discord channel? Type in Discord in the chat right now. If you came from Discord or you know Ashton from Discord, he's Astro Wrote in the Discord channel, but you know that because he's got little king emojis. Don't you have little king emojis in there? They know you're the king, Ashton. They know, right? Look at his face. He's trying not to smile. Ah! All right, next question over here. Michael David, what do you suggest that a student with a low GPA, 2.7 to 3.0, to stand out to companies? First of all, I think you should write 3.0 on your resume. I graduated with I'm not even playing. I graduated with a 2.9. I'll show you my resume. I put 3.2 on all my resumes, and I don't give a fuck because I don't care. Like that's just one other thing to disqualify yourself, because honestly they don't. This is why I have a decent relationship with admitting this to you guys. They don't actually care what the GPA is. They just use that as a hard limiter. What they care about is, can you communicate? Can you work as a team? Can you show up with a good attitude? Can you even show up? Like a lot of Gen Z and millennials, they have a hard time even like sticking with a career, right? I'm just cracking up. Can you fucking show up? You know? And they care about this. And your grades, your GPA is not necessarily an indicator of you being a good engineer. In fact, if you had a 3.7 or higher, even 3.6 is all right. If you had a 3.8, 3.9, 3.7, it looks bad because it shows me that you were a bookworm and you probably were a nerd and you don't know how to communicate or work as a team, and you probably had less time for clubs. You didn't do as many extracurriculars. You didn't go over an engineering team. You didn't do research with a professor, right? So here's what I had, 2.9, and I was a grader for an engineering class. I did volunteer engineering, or I was paid actually, undergraduate research, interned at 3 places. Like, this is what they want. They don't care about the GPA. So lie and write 3.0 or 3.1 or whatever. But what you need to do is so the question really is, how do I stand out, especially now that most extracurriculars are canceled due to COVID? Not if you have the 1% Engineer Remote Internship Kit. If you guys want the 1% Internship Kit, and if you think this is a good idea, where we're going to give you, okay, a plan of essentially something. Here's what you can do for 3 months. And you spend 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week or whatever we decide. Hamza and Sadhu and I had a really cool brainstorming session about this. But we're going to give you a kit. Okay, you want to be an electrical engineer? Here's what you need to do. You can build your own internship so that you have a portfolio. Want to be a mechanical engineer? Here's what you can do. Okay, so I think what you need to do is reach out to your professors. Okay, here's your answer. Here's your answer, Michael David. Reach out to your professors, all of them. Start participating in class. If it's virtual, fucking participate, okay? Start asking for office hours. Start emailing your professors. Build more relationships with your professors. Your professors can change your life. Your professors can make you stand out, can give you opportunities and give you skills and experiences that you would not have otherwise, and that's what happened to me. So I did undergraduate research. I graded, did all these things. I had a good enough relationship with the dean of engineering that he let me slide when I mistook a criminal justice course. But ask to volunteer with some of their research. Ask to just get to help out, okay? Do they already have graders for their classes? Ask about it. Go back to the professors that you already had. You kind of usually have to take the course already to be a grader. Other things that you can do, you can start that content project, start that blog, start that Instagram page where you're just curating images from space or nanotechnology or robotics, whatever you want to do. Join a board. Get a position here. We have a couple more positions here. Send me an email.
Join our Discord.
Join our Discord, Ashton says. Yeah, we have a couple roles. We need several. We need like an electrical, a mechanical, an industrial, a software, and whatever I forgot, one of the main 5. We need people to help answer questions, and I can legitimately give you a virtual internship from 1% Engineer. Go look at Sadhu, Hamza. I think Ashton has it, but if you look at their LinkedIns, they have 1% Engineer on their LinkedIn. I like to believe that all of you have it on your resume. You can have me as a letter of recommendation, like a reference or whatever. So these are ways. Does that help you, Michael? Thank you for dropping more questions in the chat, boys. This is from Char, question mark, question mark, question mark. Is it possible to get an engineering, and then Luis Fernandez, your question is next. Is it possible to get a job in engineering where you work on design and manufacturing? Ooh, good question. I'm not sure if such a thing exists. Well, it does. It seems like something only for interns. Nah. Okay, so first of all, so you can actually work in manufacturing as either an industrial engineer, or you can work in manufacturing as a mechanical engineer. You can also work in manufacturing as an electrical engineer, because think about all of like heavy manufacturing, like assembly lines and factories and all these types of ecosystems need electrical engineers. There's robots everywhere. They need mechanical engineers and industrial engineers. So most likely what you need to do is go watch the What Do Mechanical Engineers Do video. That's our biggest video ever. It's got 425,000 views or something like that. Manufacturing engineering is one of the 12 subsets of mechanical engineering. So there you go. Boom. Pretty straightforward question, because they didn't give me that manuscript that a lot of people do. That's like, well, 12 years ago, here's what I did. It's like, okay, just ask the question. All right, Luis Fernandez, and then Nihal, your question is next. Large electrical engineering companies would be, oh, great, awesome. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, L3 Harris, Intel, Texas Instruments, Apple. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Nihal.
Hey, Jake, before you answer this question, Robert Torres said this twice. Hey, Jake, you had replied on one of my comment about joining your core team. Could you just tell him to email me? Because I told him that in the chat.
Yeah, so Robert Torres, go ahead. So Hamza said that you've been messaging about joining the team or whatever, so you can email Hamza. Hamza's putting his email in the chat. If you want, you can email me as well. Hamza's going to put my email in the chat. Thank you, Hamza. Because, Robert, you're always on the streams. We got 46 people here now. What? Smash that like button, 1% Nation. This is the 1% Engineer live stream. We're doing it for the 5th time this year, but we're doing it every Thursday at 8 p.m. Thank you so much for being here. Drop your question in the chat right now. We're doing questions right away, and the more questions that pile up, the faster I'll go, so we can get your questions. But thank you so much for being here. This is for empowering young engineers. So if you're a young engineer and you want to rise to the top 1% of your career, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell right now. Join the Discord. Here we have Ashton, who's the head of our Discord. Sadu is also on the board, and Hamza, the director of operations. Guys, I messed up the microphone. That's why you can't hear them. We were supposed to have a dialogue and a discussion tonight between the 4 of us, but I don't know how to use OBS Streamlabs well enough, and here we are. Question. No, how to get motivated to study? Great question. Thank you for this. I'm lately finding it really hard to focus. One thing about 1% Engineer is that the biggest thing that we help people with, as you can kind of see from this, is picking the right major. So I get a lot of the same questions in slightly different variations. So I really appreciate these questions that's about how to be a good engineering student. Okay, how to get motivated to study. So all of you know on the team here that I just went through a really kind of rough patch in my life over the last like 4 or 5 weeks. You know, feeling great now, but you know, ever since I actually left my corporate engineering career behind, I've been a part of a startup team for 2 years. We were on Shark Tank. If you Google my name and Shark Tank, it'll be all over the internet. You know, around here, I'm living in Delaware, where Joe Biden is from. Delaware's on the map now. Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that. But I left my corporate engineering career behind to join a startup team and push things like 1% Engineer Show a little bit more. I picked the right team because I ended up on ABC's Shark Tank. I was on the internet, fucking famous around here now, and it's awesome, and it all worked out. But since quitting my engineering job, which the anniversary for that it's coming up in about 2.5 years ago that happened. About every 6 months, I get this like very weird state where I'm like worried about the future, and I get a little bit more anxious, and I lose my motivation to do the things that I need to be doing. Okay, and Joe Rogan. This is what I want to talk about. Joe Rogan has this amazing video about motivation that I have listened to probably 250 times. And what it is he talks about how you got to see your life as it's like a movie, okay? Most people, they have this disconnect between themselves right now and their future self. No, I don't need to study right now. I'm just going to go have fun. I can goof off. And they don't worry about that future self that's going to regret it, okay? You got to live your life like a movie. You got to fucking wake up every day like you're the star of your own movie. And it doesn't matter how unmotivated you were before. It doesn't matter if you you think you've been a bad student and you've had bad habits and you're really unhappy with where you are, but the real thing about life is that like working really hard is what successful people do. So you have to get up and just do it anyway. And the ways that I think that you can do that is when you're in a rut, get up and just do something simple. Wash the dishes, do your laundry, clean your room, go work out, go for a run. Exercise for 10 minutes provides you an endorphin release. It makes you feel positive. It makes you feel optimistic. Okay, but you have to figure out some way to break this rut. There's a really good video about this. I can't remember the creator. Maybe I'll YouTube it right now. I'm not even going to take the time. But it's about the Google. Go to YouTube. It's called like What I Do When I'm Stuck in a Rut. It's a white dude who's bald, just like me. I have no hair. All my hair's right here, guys. But it's a really good video. But Joe Rogan is it's an amazing person who, like most of these people who you see who are hyper successful and hyper motivated, like the days where you don't feel like working and you don't feel motivated, those are more common than the ones where you feel like getting up and doing the work. But doing the grind and the breakthroughs and the success and like, oh, I figured it out. Like you will feel better the more that you do it. So you have to do some sort of routine. You have to discipline yourself, okay? Willpower is a depletable resource, just like your own energy, just like your own focus. So study early in the morning. Use techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you study for 25 minutes, you take a break for 5, and then you study for 25 minutes, and you take a break for 5, okay? Utilize. I have a video about this, by the way. I'm going to mute you, Stu. The nine ways that engineers can study better. It's a video on YouTube. Maybe somebody can link it in the chat. That would be great. But I talk about these tactics, okay? How to build good habits, how to actually study better. So I hope that helped you, Nahal.
Hey, Jake.
I should probably mute myself.
Somebody said that they can hear me talking. I don't know if it's true or not. Could you ask
It's faint.
people?
I think it's probably just really faint. So can you guys hear people talking?
Hi, I'm Paul.
That's Ashton. Yeah, I think they can hear you.
Test,
It's just really faint. And if they can hear you, then we've been making a big mistake this whole time. So why don't you yell
from the other side?
Can you guys hear that? Can they hear us? There's also like a 20-second delay. So by the time we do things,
the worst Adele impression ever.
Okay, guys, back to the questions. 40 people in here. This is awesome. This is a great stream. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so we had 422 people show up. There's 40 here, but 422 engineers. That's why you always hear me announcing, like, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, because it helps other people see it.
Okay.
Grant Waldy is here.
Grant
Waldy, we were already talking about you, bruh. We got to get you on the show. So somebody was asking about bridge engineers and what bridge engineers really do. And I'm talking about Grant. I told them about your
Yes, it works.
I did. Wait, this is working?
Bruh.
This is
working?
working?
People are saying they can hear us.
Oh my God.
This is crazy.
What is this?
Yo, Grant, if you want to join this, I'm gonna link you this link right now. Get in this meeting room. This is crazy.
Wow. So
Somebody find that link. Hamza, can you get the calendar link and post it to
Did it just,
me? Don't put it in the
Was
screen.
it always working, or
Probably.
did it just like start working?
I don't know. Whatever. It's working now.
don't question it. It just works.
All right. Daniel says, can structural engineers... Okay, now what we need to do is not all talk at the same time.
Don't question it.
Now we need to not
I don't know
talking.
why it works.
Okay, Sadu. Okay, so here we go. Daniel Medja says, can structural engineers work in the aerospace sector? Interesting. So what you could do... Sorry, Sadu. I didn't know how much delay there was. I was like, what? So Sadu left. That's fine.
Rest in peace to do.
Yeah,
Paul went out.
Rip. That's fine.
F in the chats.
Hey, Jake, this is a good question I just posted.
Yeah, I was like, is he mad?
Catherine
I was like, is Sadu mad? Okay, hold on. So construction. I'm
I
gonna get
tried
to
to
the question.
mute myself.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna get to this question, and then Hamza, I'll get to that in a second. Can structural engineers work in the aerospace sector? Interesting. So I think the best application for a structural engineer working for the aerospace sector is actually doing the design of what would be like a spaceport, or imagine when you have a rocket that you need to launch, that apparatus that keeps it up. I guarantee you the structural engineer is building that, not a rocket engineer. Right? Excuse me. What about the whole facility? One of the things that transportation engineers can do is they actually deal with like the traffic of all the planes at the airport. So think about the ecosystems where you have this big airport hangar, or like building. You have structural engineers who literally design airports and do the maintenance for airports and the innovation for airports. So that would be the best possible way. Things like that. What was your question, Hamza?
So I posted this in the Google Meets chat. Catherine Hanji asked a good question. I think I think this is an important question. How realistic is it to aim to be an engineer at SpaceX or Rocket Lab? Yes, go for it. You should always aim big.
Yeah, it's definitely great. So you guys just keep typing in the chat if you could hear Hamza really well. Hamza's got like a green and yellow strobe light going now. Yeah,
Hamza in the club right now.
Hamza in the club, 1% engineer club. Okay, so wait, what was the question? I got myself distracted.
Oh, it's how realistic is it to aim to be
Tesla.
an engineer at SpaceX or Rocket Lab? I'm excited for the prospects of the innovation happening, but I don't want to be without a job or unable to provide for myself.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like, how realistic is it to be an astronaut? How realistic is it to join the Olympics? But some of these
It's out of this world.
Some of these lucky fools do, right? So it's like, if you want it bad enough and you really want to delineate yourself from other people, then you can do it, right? Like, and you can, and again, if you do these things, you put it on the internet that you're working towards this goal, and you have a blog about like that goal. That's what you should do. Go buy the journey to SpaceXengineer.com right now and start that blog. Seriously, I'm not even playing. And you do that, you blog once a week for like 2 years, and you'll get a job opportunity at SpaceX. You're gonna be so impressed, and then just the more you talk about it, and the more you actually manifest this, and you follow the Jim Rohn effect, right? Surround yourself. Go try to meet engineers who already work there, right? Build relationships with them on LinkedIn. Go look at Everyday Astronaut's YouTube channel, okay? This is just some regular guy, all right? He was enamored by like old Soviet spacesuits, and that what he did was he started a YouTube channel called Everyday Astronaut, and now he's interviewed Elon Musk twice. He's just a freaking regular guy from like Minnesota. It's insane. Okay, so anything is possible. The first thing that you need to do is believe that you can achieve it, because if you never believe it, you're never going to actually put in the work required to get there. So it's a mindset thing at first.
Got to visualize it first.
Gotta visualize it. Gotta visualize it. Thank you, Sadu. All these guys in the chat with me right now are board members. What we need to do, I need to have little like information bubbles about your names and like who you are, like board member, director of operations, production director. We gotta figure out what your title is to do. Director of Discord. We got Ashton up here. Okay.
We got a next Discord question inside the
Let's hear
document.
It. You can go ahead and announce it if you want.
Oh boy.
Or you can do it.
Don't.
Do it in the document. If you don't want to say it,
okay.
You can drop it into the document. Oh, here it is. You want me to do it? Go ahead.
Bando J asks, I've always had a passion for engineering, aerospace engineering, since I was young, but I'm not good at maths. How do I improve? How do I improve? Oh God, my English.
Right. So here's the thing. It's like I get a lot of those questions like, so can I be an engineer if I'm not good at math? So like I'm not good at math either. I'm just like okay. I'm like pretty good, but I'm not like great. Okay. I put myself at like a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5. I don't know. But it's like, are you bad at math? Do you hate math? Because if that's the case, you don't want to be an engineer, okay? Because civil engineering is one of the easier engineering for in like a degree conversation. I still had to take calculus 1, 2, and 3, engineering math 1, 2, and 3, and statistics, and then at the graduate level took another statistics, and then all of the other math, all the other actual engineering courses like statics, dynamics, thermo, fluid mechanics, like these are all math classes. It's a whole lifetime of math, okay? So that's the first thing you got to realize is like, am I decent enough? Like, do I like engineering enough to suffer through this math that I'm not incredibly skilled at? And there's like an instinct to it, right? Like, don't torture yourself for a whole, right? So, dude, what do you have to say about this? Like, I feel like, yeah, go ahead. Oh, no mute button. Okay, I mean, so go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You're on the right track. I mean, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of what it is. I get that question a lot. Like, you should kind of know deep in your heart of hearts, like, if you're good enough to cut it. Like, it's not. Nobody goes to engineering school and is like, oh yeah, it's just easy. Like, that's bullshit. Like, all those people are just trying to make you feel bad because they know they suck deep down too. Trust me. Like, it's hard, but there's some sort of instinct. Like, you're either good enough or it's not. And there's precursors, right? Like, I don't know where you are in your career, but take AP Calculus and take AP Physics and things like that in high school, and you should know in the first year at university if you're going to make it or not. Like, I even had to retake calculus too because I got a D in it. Like, that's how not so great I was, right? But I still knew that I wanted to be a freaking engineer, so I did everything I could to make it. Here's tips about how to survive math if you're not the best at it. You got to do your homework with other people. If I tried to do my engineering homework alone, I would have been fucked, okay? Would have never made it, all right? You got to study exams with a big study group. I try to hang out with the smart kids. You got to pick project teams. With the smart kids. You gotta spend time with the professors. You gotta raise your hand and participate. Stay after class. Go to office hours. Develop an email relationship with them. So when it comes time to like pass or fail you or give you bump you into the curve, like you will get by and you will make it. I made it because of my relationships with humans and not my ability to be a good engineer. That's why 1% Engineer doesn't teach engineering. It teaches how to be successful as an engineer. Let's see here. Joshua Nowicki. Jake, how do you be an engineer that is a designer, inventor like Leonardo da Vinci or Tony Stark? That most people think when they want to be an engineer, a designer, or an inventor. Okay, so I hate to break it to you guys, but there is diminishing returns on inventions every single year. There's fewer and fewer patents because the things around physical invention just goes to zero, right? Like think about the innovation and things that's happening in the world. It's all tech. It's software. It's little things that's not inventing things. So there's no such thing as being an inventor to me. I don't believe in that. But being an innovator, okay, being a creator, building things and improving on things that already exist. Innovation is far better than invention. Invention actually sucks. Most of the people who invented the things that changed the world actually were the ones that said, oh, we don't actually need this. It was the next crew that came in and pivoted on their ideas and smoked them. Look at Facebook, MySpace. It was Xerox that came up. They developed the laptop. It was Kodak that developed the digital camera. It was BlackBerry that had the first touchscreen. All these companies thought that they were in a good enough position that they had already invented their way into a situation and they didn't innovate. Innovation is what engineers do. So don't worry about being an inventor. It's not a thing. But Tony Stark didn't invent anything, right? He just used everything he knew to build something new. He didn't really like invent a new product. He just built a suit. Like there's not the only suit out there. Like there's a whole community out there for mechs, people who wear big suits. Like he's not the only one. He's just the coolest one. You know, that's just what it is. So that's my view on that. Grant Waldy, question. Love it. I'm so happy. So Grant and I worked together for 4 years, and he was my first friend in Vancouver, and is a very meaningful guy to me, and I oftentimes use him as an example for how much freaking money you can make early on. Grant told me like 2 years ago he was making $120,000 a year, and that's probably not even accurate today, and you can do that. I mean, I'm 33. I think Grant is 32 or 33. And he also has a really cool job because he travels around. If you look at his Facebook or his LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn, find Grant Waldy. He's in like helicopters and hanging off of bridges and doing all this crazy stuff, traveling. He has a really cool career. He's a great example of an engineer who's really like taking his career by the collar and be like, here we go, let's go, here we go. And he's really like holding the reins and cracking the whip because he can go anywhere he wants. And he basically has a skill to like open up a new division. He's irreplaceable. He's a good example of that, like so good they can't ignore you type of thing. So I'm really happy that Grant is here again. It's funny that you were already mentioned in the live stream. Go back and watch the live stream, Grant. You'll see it. We always keep them up always so you can see it. So for people who already have been a decent amount of design experience under their belt, what's a good way to progress into management? What a great question. So I think you have to ask for responsibilities within your employer that give you the ability to manage people. Management is really about managing people, right? It's that you're good enough as a technical thought leader to do the work, but now you need to step up so that you have one person above, or you're above at least one person. Usually it's like two. You can help two junior engineers, but you almost have to seek out opportunities to be in that role, okay? And the leadership roles, the management roles are more unique, right? You'll have if you have 100 engineers in an office, maybe 10 are managers, maybe 15 are managers. So they're more competitive, right? Ask for nothing and you get nothing. You have to kind of claw and fight and get what you want. It makes me think of Matthias when he came, this German, very cool. He was a department head. I wonder, is he still at Parsons? I doubt it. But Matthias kind of came in and he was wearing a tie, and he was a German engineer. He was like 50, and we had this intern guy who was running Grant's division, I guess running it, even though to me you were always running it, Grant. But this younger guy, and Matthias just kind of like slowly was in a couple more of these situations where like we could kind of see the progression of him becoming department head, and he just little by little had more opportunities and more things under his belt, and then all of a sudden he's in the other guy's office. I almost said his name. But it's about telling people what you want. Just like what a good intern would do is go to your boss and say, like, what do I need to do to be the best engineer, right? You would go to a regional department head or something and say, like, I want to be in management. And you make that announcement. You draw a line in the sand. You can even go out and get your MBA. I think that's something that Grant will do. He also did a really cool project where he read a bunch of MBA books and then summarized them online. I can't see how many people are in the chat anymore. My chat data. Oh, 45. Go ahead and smash the like button. 1% Nation people are in here for 3 minutes and 30 seconds on average. So most of you just got here. 1% Engineers, a platform for empowering young engineers. We have 124 episodes all about how to help you pick the right major, survive engineering school along with getting an internship or an awesome job like Grant Waldy. So I hope that answered your question, Grant. Honestly, I think you Grant, have an even better insight than me, being like a corporate career engineer guy. Like, what tips do you have about getting into management? Because I know you have your sights on that. So I'd love to see right back at you. Touche, Grant. What do you have to say about that? Corbin Hockenbrock. Wow, I'm really saying that.
Hey,
right.
Jake, I have a comment to make.
Yeah, go ahead. I keep forgetting that you guys can actually be heard. Sorry, I'm kind of just like going. Yeah,
no
go
problem.
ahead, Hamza. Sorry. Yeah, go.
So I think this is pretty important based off of the chat that's going on. So when it comes to making progress in anything in life that you want to do, what you do is you go out, you do the thing, then you figure out where are you hitting a wall up against. Then what you do is you focus on one thing at a time. That's how our brains learn. And this is how Google trains their managers to become better. What's the one thing that you can fix that'll give you 80% improvement in your results or whatnot, and then focus on that one thing for at least 10 days and whatnot, and then focus on the next and the next and the next.
Yeah, it's true. I really like that. The 80-20 rule is, really big. Usually about 20% of the things you're doing are producing about 80% of the results. So I'm really glad that Hamza made that analogy. I assume that they can hear you guys okay, right? Otherwise, we would hear the recourse in the stream. Wow.
I think now it's pretty clear.
So I guess we just weren't close enough to the microphone before, guys, or something stupid. Man, you guys should have seen me. Before this, we were trying to do a 10-minute countdown and use like an older version of this software. I'm like fucking freaking out. And I'm like, it's just going to be me. You guys got to go. And then we did a last-minute vote. I'm like, hey, do you guys just want to be in the stream no matter what? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just be silent. This is so funny. I'm really happy about this. Thanks for sticking it out with me, boys. This is awesome.
Wow.
All right, next question. Corbin Hockenbrock. I want to trade your last name. I actually don't mind the last name Voorhees, but if I had to pick another one, I would pick Hockenbrock. What are some tips and tricks for applying for internships? I feel like we've hammered this one to death. Actually, no. I'm going to give you the internship, what I call the internship 10-step blueprint, how to get an internship 1.0. And if you think that you are having too much trouble getting an internship, we are building this thing called the 1% Engineer Remote Internship Kit. Can't get an internship because of COVID-19? Do it yourself at home. And so we're going to build a playbook about 3 months of activities and softwares and tasks and projects where that you can actually... We can give you the resources to teach you how to do these things, give you the projects to actually do the things, and then show you how to take those things and build a portfolio so that you can get a job just like you had your own internship. Okay? Now, if that is the solution, great. But to actually answer your question, which is what are some tips and tricks? What are some tips and tricks for applying to an internship? So this is my sort of how to get an internship sort of playbook, okay? So go get a piece of paper and you're going to write down 10 names, okay? They're only in 2 categories. So the first 5 people, okay? The first 5 names are people in your actual life that you know that have a real relationship with you in some capacity, okay? So if you're a high school student about to go into university, well, I guess if you're trying to get an internship, you're not a high school student. So you're a college student. So At least two of these people on your 5 should be professors that you like. And for example, if you're trying to get, if you're a mechanical engineer and you want to work in a certain area, one of your mechanical engineering professors is a decent fit for having connections to that industry, okay? So if you participate in class and you stay after and you go to office hours and you email with them, whether it be COVID or not, standing out in class and showing the professor that you care about the relationship with them, put in time there, and then about a month of that, you can ask that professor to introduce you to people that they know in the mechanical engineering field so that you can do what they call an informational interview, okay? Other people that you actually might reach out to about this. The top 5 people are people that you know in some way in your life who have access to engineers, okay? Do you know anybody who works in engineering? Do your parents have any friends who are engineers? Do your parents have any friends of friends that know engineers? Does Uncle Bill know a friend who's an engineer? You need to be asking everybody in your family or everybody who's a family friend or anybody who you know, right? Ask your sports coaches. Ask everybody. Go back to your high school teachers. Email them. That's why I should have been doing that the whole time, muting myself and coughing. But you need to be asking everybody about how that you can get access to these engineers, because if you have a friend, say Uncle Bill introduces you to an engineer at Siemens, right? The likelihood of that engineer going and allowing you to come in for an informational interview or even just giving you a shot at an actual internship is so much higher because you're trusted. They know you're going to show up for work. They know that you're not going to lie, cheat, and steal from the company. So you got to do this top 5 thing. And I stress the professors so much because I had multiple professors who literally went to bat for me after university and changed my life. I would have never gotten these opportunities without my professors. 3 of them. Dr. Rusty Lee, who was a freaking an engineer on a nuclear submarine, a submarine that produces its own power so it never has to surface. He was the head engineer. That guy, Dr. Jack Paleo, who I did research with, and Dr. Sue McNeil, who got me into grad school because I was her grader, okay? So write down the 5 people who have access. If I was going to go back into engineering, Grant Waldy's on my list. People like Danielle Schroeder, who I used to work with at Pannoni, or Marcus Widener, just people who I've met, people who you've met at job fairs, people who you interact with online, right? There's people in this Discord channel who are full-time engineers who, if you are active and show that you care enough about 1% engineer, look at Hamza. What are you laughing at, Hamza?
So basically, somebody was commenting, why is Hamza green? I said lighting. I'm an alien and I'm out of this world.
Bro.
And then Ashton just played in on it, saying I'm on Mars.
Bro, that's what it is. I mean, honestly, Mars is the red planet. Hamza's over here on the yellow planet. This is what it is.
I come in peace.
So those are the 5 people, the first 5, okay? The second 5, the second 3, the second 5 that you need to do is whatever city you live in, whatever place you want to get this internship, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to know the top 3 to 5 companies that you would want to intern with. And you need to go on their company websites, go through their profiles, find their people on LinkedIn, and target engineers who have the job that you would want 5 to 10 years after school, and send them a message on LinkedIn. Okay, connect with them. It's free. You do connect and then say add a note. And then you send them a message, and we can give you a playbook for what to say, but it should be something like, hey, thank you so much for the work you do with your company. Your company is really inspiring, and I really would want to work for this company like this one day. I would love to talk to you more about your career. So can we talk about an informational interview? That's what you ask for. You don't ask for an internship. Don't fuck it up by asking for what you actually want. You ask for an informational interview. What an informational interview is, something that you need to go watch the video on, because we made a video about that called How to Actually do an Informational Interview. What an informational interview is the ability to go in and have a meeting with an engineer who basically has the job that you think you might want. And you have a conversation with that engineer about what they really do. And what it is like this courting phase. They're getting to know you, you're getting to know them, and you're essentially learning more about that company. You already know you want to work there, but they're getting to know you and your ambitions, and you have this ability to stand out and build a relationship with an engineer who's working at a company that you might want to intern with. And then you can keep in touch, and then after like a month or 2 of that, you can ask for an internship. So that's my playbook. Write down 10 names, the first 5 of people that you know, to introduce you to an engineer. Your chances are better there because those people already know, like, and trust you, and that That connection, that introduction goes so far. I've never applied to an engineering job and landed it. I've never gotten an engineering job that I applied for. I only have had opportunities because I emailed friends. I said, hey, I'm having trouble getting a job. And then things happened because they sent 2 emails and that person was like, yeah, we'll give Jake a shot because you said he's okay. Honestly, that's the way life works. Anybody want to weigh in on that? Hamza, Sadhu, Ashton?
What?
Huh?
It's not about like who you are or anything. It's about who you know and like how you use those networks and connections.
Right.
Always.
The other thing I would say to that is networking is a skill like anything else. You gotta put yourself out there and you gotta just not quit.
100%. I'm getting a really cool question here. I love this. So we have, here's the questions coming up. Corbin, thank you so much for that question. Alexandra is getting a question. Jared's getting a question. Marissa's getting a question. Maddie B, let's blast through these. Got 4 in the queue. This is really awesome. How many people are in the live stream right now? 40 people. Smash that like button. Go ahead and join the Discord server where Ashton is the director. And make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you guys go. All 40 of you, go over to thangs.com and please sign up for a free account. It's our sponsor. We did a video about them. It's only got about 1,000 views. So the more people that sign up for thangs.com with that custom link, the better it's going to be for our ability to do a second project with them. So that would be highly appreciated. Alexandra says, actually, I'm going to skip ahead. I want to get to Jared Weathers. And Alexandra, you're next. Hey, Jake, I'm applying to UD. Any tips? That's University of Delaware. University of Delaware is on the map because Joe Biden, I have an alma mater. I share an alma mater with the future president of the United States of America. I think that is the best. Okay, so I think what you need to do is, again...
Bro, that's only if Trump concedes.
Yo, only if
y'all don't.
Yo, bro,
y'all
no,
politics
he's
is
not
pretty
going to
funny.
concede. He's not going to concede. This is going to be dragged out just like the freaking 38-day Florida recount where George Bush beat John Kerry, and it's going to be ridiculous. But for now, Biden's it, bro. I'm telling you is what it is. All right, so what you need to do, I've been working out. What you need to do is you need to write an essay about something in Delaware. I wrote my essay about the Route 1 bridge. You need to write your essay about why you want to go there. Everybody wants to go to UD now, right? So, you need to probably not talk about the Joe Biden thing. But essentially, in your essay, storytell about why you want to be an engineer and why that campus is special to you. Otherwise, I can introduce you to some engineers. I really think that, maybe we need to get to know each other, but I can maybe try to help you. But otherwise, I think it's just making that university feel like you only want to go there. That's why early acceptance is the thing, because universities really want you if you really want them. And so in your essay, make it seem like this program is the place for you, this school is the place for you. New York is a really unique place where University of Delaware is. It's really just a college town. And so maybe if you deeply, what type of engineering do you want to do? Because they have a really good steel bridge and concrete canoe team. So if you know these things and can communicate them in your application, I can give you some tips, okay? So join the Discord, get in the Discord, and then send me a DM. I'm always promoting the Discord, Ashton. Pushing it. We got 800 engineers in there almost. I want some more. Alexandra, I think if 9, I don't know, we'll just keep going. I'm over here at my girlfriend's place, and I'll just keep going until she comes back. Who's playing the air guitar over there? I'm just playing. Okay, Alexandra, and then we got Marissa, Maddie B, Kevin Icky. Great to see you're still here, and then Mason's question. Okay. How do you get out of that dark place? This is Alexandra's question. How do you get out of that dark place when you feel that you're not doing enough? I think you need to take a break and spend time with people who make you feel good. Spend time with doing things that make you feel good. It seems like you've been through either a darker time and you're not feeling good. You're feeling either down on yourself and depressed. And I think, again, we talked about this with mindset and motivation and just kind of getting restarted after being in a rut. You got to do things that make you feel good again. Maybe taking a break, taking some time off from whatever is keeping you down and keeping you drained. I also feel that being around people who are positive and upbeat and want to live life, don't just exist in this life, live this life and thrive in this life and just being around somebody this type of energy is contagious. It's the Jim Rohn effect. You become the average of the top 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so that's a big thing. But I'd love to chat more, Alexandra. I give a lot of one-on-one time to students or little chat, but I've been through this stuff. Trust me, send me a message. I think maybe your specific situation and how old you are and that sort of thing, like where you are with. This is kind of like a mental health question, guys, which is totally fine. I struggle with mental health situations sometimes, like feeling motivated and feeling like you're going in the right direction and worrying about the future. Like, I struggle with all these same things just like you. I know you guys see me on YouTube, like always acting like I know what I'm talking about, but usually it's like, a lot of days are tough for most people, and you're not alone, and the way you feel is it's okay, but just slowly getting back to normal, being around people that make you feel good, doing things that make you feel good, separating yourself from whatever toxicity or negative, or it seems to me that something or someone is making you feel bad about yourself, and you need to remove that from your life as fast as possible. If you want to do a follow-up question in the chat, go ahead about that, Alexander. I'll take it. Marissa Hutchinson, how valuable are construction trade skills and tech courses to civil programs in university? Complex question. How valuable are construction trade skills and tech courses to civil programs in university? Well, if you have construction trade skills, I would imagine what you're asking about is that you are either considering going into construction trades or you're coming from construction trades and now you finally want to be an engineer. Hugely valuable. And tech courses to civil engineering programs, what you say, that's a little too broad for me to know what you mean. Excuse me, maybe expand on that question, but I think those things are very valuable. But I also want to know, I think you need to give me actually some more context. Like, where are you? Like, are you considering going into construction trade and then going back to school? Are you, like, I need more detail so I can give you a better answer. Maddie B, would you say that there is one particular class that stands out in terms of importance in the structural engineering curriculum as opposed to others? Oh my goodness. Every once in a while, you get a question that you have the ability to just be straightforward and there's like, boom, this is the question. Okay. So in civil engineering, which structural engineering is one of the big five, in civil engineering you have structural, transportation, environmental, water resources, and geotechnical. Okay, structural engineering is the primary when you think about is the primary when you think about civil engineering. You think about building bridges and roads and bridges and buildings. So really, okay, the course that you need to look at is called statics. Okay, so in civil engineering, nothing is moving, everything is static. And so you learn about essentially like free body diagrams, and there's load forces on a beam, and then they're in tension or compression, and then you might have a fixed piece, and then you might have a rolling arm.
Moments.
You might have moment diagrams like things twisting and forces. You have torsion, and then you have snow load. You have consistent
right hand rule.
These things. This is what statics is. Okay, dynamics is the answer to this question. If you were to be saying that you are going to be a mechanical engineer because everything's moving now. But statics is the question. I really appreciate the ability to be so straightforward in a response. Thank you for that, Maddie B. Keviki Penchel, who'd win a fight, Jake, Sidhu, Hamza, or Ashton? Well, I'm not even going to give these guys an opportunity to talk shit, but I'm a 33-year-old man, okay? Man! Look at this beard. I want you guys to Google this. A black maned male, alpha male lion, and you show me what that lion looks like. And then you ask the question. Besides these three, I don't know. I mean, I've only met Sidhu in real life once. Ashton, how tall are you?
6'3".
Okay, I'm taking Ashton over these two guys. I'm 6'3", and I don't remember how tall you are, Sidhu. Hamza, how tall are you?
5'8", but the truth is in fighting, what matters more is leverage, because with technique.
Yeah, I'm taking Ashton. I'm taking the big motherfucker over.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know how to use the techniques properly.
It's true. So I really appreciate Hamza's response.
Hamza's gonna breakdance us into a victim.
So I actually really appreciate
Hamza's gonna summon like his alien ship to kill all of us.
Yeah, bring down the aliens. So I really appreciate what Hamza is saying, because when I was 20, 21, I invested in like boxing training and learning martial arts, and I went through a situation where I actually got my ass beat by this guy who thought I was like scheming. Not my ass beat. I like let this guy hit me in the face, and then it like kind of like lost consciousness for a couple minutes, and it was like a really bad situation I had gotten myself into because of like just some social stuff. It was really weird, but it made me realize like, damn, I need to learn to fight. And so I went and like did boxing training and fell in love with Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather and all that stuff. And I did like the speed bag and heavy bag and really learned to like how to really throw a punch hard. And I felt more confident if anything happened. I didn't turn into like an aggressive guy, but like if something ever happened, I had the confidence to defend defend myself. And Hamza's doing that right now. He's learning judo, and tell him what you're doing right now, Hamza. And so you have this perspective that like in a year from now, maybe my answer would be Hamza, because he's like a training martial artist, budding martial artist.
Right now I had to take a break because focus on school, but like from the little that I've learned, so my friend Adam's been teaching me how to fight and whatnot, and I can say this from my own experience, like height doesn't matter and weight doesn't matter. You can still throw people over. It's all based off of leverage.
It's true if you know what you're doing, but like take a look.
If you know what you're doing and it's ingrained. But yeah.
But like if you have just a bunch of average people, I'm taking the big guy. So anyway, I mean, I think it's just a joke question. That's why I just was jokingly like, none of these guys are all really nice guys. In my mind, none of them are ever going to fight anyway. So it's just all for fun. I appreciate that fun question.
I fight for a living, Jake. You
What do
never
you
know
mean?
that.
What do you mean?
Oh, I actually do karate. 14 years.
I said the right answer. That's great.
So,
That's great. I want to see a video. Have you seen the
but Hamza's right though. In judo, they teach you to you have to make two bodies one. Don't take that in the wrong way. But
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
so like the initial technique is like yucking the person with their lapel, just kind of like around here, and that's like getting them off their balance. So all about breaking their foundation, and then once there, they're kind of like your toy in a way. You can make someone who's like
You break
really
someone's
heavy
balance,
be
it's
like,
game over. If you know what you're
yeah.
doing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we only have one question in this document, guys, Mason. So, I'm just going to keep on going. Maybe okay. I don't know what's happening, but okay, sorry.
Robert has a question as well. Let me just post it.
Yeah, that sounds great. So next one, Mason's question is, what are some ways you could shape your career to travel a lot as a civil engineer? Well, first of all, you could have a career like grants, and you could be an inspector, like some sort of bridge inspector, building inspector, safety inspector. You could want to go into that. But essentially, I think what you need to do is work for a company that has things all around the world, and probably either go into sales or business development. But I think what you need to do is express interest. You need to work for a company that either has engineers who travel, or work for a company that's all around the world. Sending people, paying for people to travel, it can be done and it's there, but it's very expensive to pay people to pay you to then also pay you to travel, and you basically need to develop a skill set that's so valuable that it's worth it for them to move you around and go to different places and actually just relocate you from place to place to place, or ship you around. Or you can work in a situation where you have this is very common. So I'm over here in Wilmington, Delaware. We're only a 2-hour drive from New York City. There's a lot of companies that have an office in California and an office in New York. And there's a lot of people I know who literally are on that grind where they're flying back and forth to California, like 12 to 24 times a year, every week or every other 2 weeks. So there's that. I had a very fortunate opportunity so that they taught me how to do VISM. I was a micro simulation modeler as a traffic engineer. And instead of training a new engineer in Canada, in British Columbia, 2,000 miles away, they sent me there for 5 weeks when I was only an engineer in Chicago for like 8 months or 9 months. They were like, hey, do you want to go to Vancouver for 5 weeks? We need your help. And so it was like a blitz project. And then I was like, yup. And I remember having a conversation with my girlfriend at the time, and she was like, you're going to go? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going. Like, what do you mean? Like, you'll be here when I get back. And it was fine. We ended up breaking up. But like, I when they brought it up to me, it was not like I didn't have any resistance. I was open to it, and I didn't really express to them that I wanted to travel, but they would have probably asked me even sooner if I did. The second thing that you can do is just build skills that are more rare, okay? So just invest in the skills, multifaceted engineering skills, like being an engineer who can program and doing things that really make you stand out. You're going to be more likely to be put on a plane and sent around because it's more valuable to pay you to go somewhere else than to replace you. If you're irreplaceable, you will find a company that can afford to have you travel. Thanks for dropping in some more questions, guys. Robert Torres, any funny job screw-up stories? Oh, snap. I've never been asked this question before. Wow, this is a great question, and I feel like if I give it a couple minutes, I have stories. Ooh, job engineering. So, first of all, give some context about this. So, until you're actually like a team lead, there's no big mistakes you can make because this is how engineering works. So you have a team. You have like a team lead, and then there's like 3, 4, 5 junior engineers under them, and then there's usually like a couple teams under like one department manager who might be in ahead of like 8 to 10 to 12 to maybe 15 engineers. But until you're one of the team leads, and really until you're running the whole group, you can't really make devastating mistakes. And so how it works is you have one junior engineer doing the work, one engineer checking the work, and then you have another one back checking the work. And so you make decisions as a team usually. You make mistakes as a team. You're trying to spot each other's work. You're trying to always spot each other's mistakes. You're trying to always make sure that it's not just so simple that like one person can make a blunder and then, the world crumbles. So I'm actually having a lot of trouble even thinking of anything where I made a big mistake, or, there's like embarrassing moments where it's like, hey, like you messed this up again. And I guess, I don't know. I can't really think of many. The worst ones would be, we used to build these big models. So I was a forecaster, okay? Did this Vism thing, micro simulation, and we used to have to do the planning and the forecasting for what the traffic impacts would be like at a city after you build a new bridge that was going to be there for 50 years. So imagine New York City, Philadelphia, Chicago, LA, one of these big cities. You build a new bridge or a new massive highway, it's going to dramatically affect the entire region. And if you're going to use taxpayer money to build this project, then you can't mess it up because everybody's going to hate you, and then that politician's not going to get reelected. So they use the state funds to hire a company to do the forecasting to basically help them make the decision on where the bridge should go, how it looks, this type of thing, okay? And so what you got to do is you take a whole team and then you build a model of that city. You need to recreate what that city looks like today. And then you do a base model, so that's the base model, and then you do a no build. You crank some dials and you pretend like you can see what it's like 50 years later. And then you build like 3 or 4 alternatives, and then you run these big city models. It might take days and days and days to run the models, okay? And so the mistakes that we used to just make is we would fuck something up, like one little button wouldn't be clicked in the model, and then you'd have to rerun for like a whole week, and you would waste like a lot of money and a lot of time, and you might even miss more deadlines. So we used to always, as a team, sometimes it was me, we used to make these types of mistakes. And so I really do need to think about that a little more and think if I've ever, I think I've been fortunate enough to just have minor things, but no like devastating scenarios. I do have a friend, his name is Malcolm Coley, give you a little shout out, runs Influencer Lab Media. He was a chemistry major and he worked for a lab, and he made like $150 million mistake or something. Really, he added too much catalyst to a reaction and he got fired for it. So like, people do make mistakes, but I just have never been in a situation where I've had to, and trust me, I've made plenty of mistakes in my engineering career and felt stupid and learned and failed fast and that sort of thing. I just don't think I have a good enough answer on the spot. I don't think it's ever really happened. So really good question. I like that. Marissa, go ahead, Hamza.
Okay,
I gotta look this up. Go ahead.
So Busher has been asking this question a lot. What civil engineering fields are trending? What civil engineering fields are trending? That's the wrong question to ask. What are you going to do? So like, let's just suppose structural engineering is trending today. What happens when water engineering is trending tomorrow? What, are you going to switch fields again? No, that's the wrong way to think about it. What you have to do is you have to pick a field, eventually try out multiple fields, and then stay in that lane for 10 years once you pick it. That's how you get extreme results.
And picking the right field is key, and that's where a lot of people have trouble and have anxiety around that. So yeah, is that question in the chat or is it just in the stock?
Yeah, it's in the chat. He's also, judging from his looks, he seems like an international student, and me coming from Pakistan, I understand where you're coming from.
What?
I have some friends that are here. Like they're doing their masters in computer science and whatnot, so I can definitely ask them. Now, as far as getting a fully funded scholarship, it'd probably be like you got to be a 1% engineer essentially. You got to do your research.
That's what it is. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that, Hamza. Anybody else want to add anything to that? Sadhu, Ashton?
I can ask my dad. My dad did get a fully funded scholarship to study in China.
Very cool. Okay.
Hamza comes from the smart.
Honestly, I don't know. I've applied to a lot, but they're pretty hard to get. You got to be really good at like the writing, and there's only like few of them to go around, and a lot of kids get them.
Word. Awesome. All right, next question. Thanks, guys. Marissa Hutchinson says, I'm a 12th grade student doing construction tech courses. Oh, this is the follow-up, as well as university courses. Will my hands-on skills serve as an advantage to universities? Yeah, because you know more. First of all, you're already geared towards being a civil engineer. You have momentum. I would want to pick you. If I was siphoning through the applications, and you come from a construction tech course versus just a regular high school or somebody who just thinks they want an engineer, you already stand out. And essentially what you've done is you've like gotten your feet wet. You tested the water, and you kind of know that you want to be a civil engineer. So I think that's really good. Plus, once you get to university, one of the biggest issues with engineers is that we have the design and we kind of know the theory, but we don't fucking know what we're doing when it gets to the hands-on, the on-site, and the actual like doing it part of being an engineer. So you do have a huge advantage, Marissa. Let's see, Tommy McNix. What's the value of a master's in civil? Really good, straightforward question. Okay, so the value of getting a master's in general in engineering is that once you know, like what Hamza said, once you know the direction that you want to take in your engineering career, like your specific direction, what you can do, if you want to be a technical thought leader, which is most of you, if you want to get into management, this is not for you, but if you want to be a technical thought leader and be like a normal type of engineer, which is just have a good career and eventually maybe you get into management. If you're like me, like I'm a good communicator and I'm not the smartest engineer, so I shouldn't have gone for like a regular master's. Those people should get MBAs. So if you're a communicator or a leader and you want to be in management, you should not get a regular master's. You should go get your master's in business administration, which is a business master's and not an engineering master's, because you're going to be managing people and not engineering projects. You're going to be managing people who are managing engineering projects instead of actually being a technical thought leader. So if you want to be a normal engineer, you don't have aspirations to like run a big team or run a division or something like that, then I think what you should do is go get your undergrad, okay? Do your 4 years and then stop. And then go work for 4. Go get your professional engineering, because it takes 4 years of experience under a PE to get that. And by the time that you have 4 years, you either really know that you want to do that type of engineering, or about 2 years in, you kind of know like, hey, this isn't the thing, and you have an opportunity to switch it and then get in the right field and then get another one, say you start off, you're a civil engineer, you start off doing bridge stuff and you're like, oh, this really isn't quite it. Even though all your momentum is around structural engineering, you can get into water, you can get into transportation. It's never too late, right? Again, you position yourself for it, you build your relationships there, and you'll be fine. Okay, and then once you've decided like, hey, I really like this, then you can go get your master's degree, and it will help you with salary. You might even be able to find an employer that will pay and support you to go get your master's, okay? So that's the order. That's the way to do it. Mr. They. Jake, I just started civil engineering community college. I feel like I'm not taking my major class, so what do I do? I don't find that to be a question. So what are you trying to figure out? I feel like I'm not taking my major class. I don't know what that means. So I almost need you to expand. Like, Mr. They, what are you trying to figure out? Just started. So civil engineering at a community college is going to be really general. It's going to be all the math. You don't take a single engineering course until like halfway through, like semester 4 in engineering university anyway. You got to do all the physics and the calculus and all this. So I think what you're telling me is very normal, to be honest. Bilo says, have you heard that BLS says that civil job outlook is 2% down from 6%? I don't care about that. Because, it's Bureau of Labor Statistics. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about that. Because, honestly, those statistics, they don't know what they're talking about. So it's the government reporting on job growth. They don't know, okay? And you want to take a look at what things rip during an economic recession or a weird presidency is construction projects. We're always building. We need to maintain all this infrastructure. And you want to also take a walk down optimism lane for construction and civil engineering. Go Google things about the health of our infrastructure, like how old bridges are and how bad a lot of these situations are. This construction and civil engineering work's never going to go away. So if it goes from 6% growth to 2% growth, it makes me yawn and just move on, because it's not a big deal. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Mumbasher Kwayamahao. I can get fully funded university abroad for masters in civil engineering. Okay, somebody mail this man a cookie because he can get a fully funded master's degree. That's fantastic.
No, he's asking how.
Oh. No, it literally says, I can get fully funded university abroad for Masters of Civil Engineering, said verbatim. And if you're asking how, I have no idea. And that's part of the reason why we do have like a really hard line in this community about like, we don't really try to do things to help international students, because I really only teach the things that I know how to do because I did it, right? I didn't go get into another country, right? I don't know. I think it's so hard and so competitive to make it into America from like, I mean, anywhere that's not here. I don't know. Like, I don't know if Hamza, you have anything to say about this, because your father's from Pakistan.
One thing I'm going to say is like,
answer it. I'll be right back.
In my country, what I've noticed is every time I go back to Pakistan, it's like they think you're rich or something. No, that's not reality. Most people in the United States are not rich, just like most people in other countries are not rich as well. So just by me having the dollar, I'm not some like Raja or something. So don't think your life is going to be amazing when you get here as well.
Right. People have this like mentality that like if you go from like this other country to the other, like you come to the West, you all of a sudden become like you're the rapper that made it, right?
No kidding.
It's not really the case. You're still you know. I turned 21, you know. I can drink alcohol at both ages, 20 or 21. I don't feel that different.
I'm glad you guys were able to tackle that, because this is one thing that I kind of try to stay away from, because really, I'm really only teaching the stuff that I know. So I really appreciate that. Thanks, boys. All right, let's see here. N. Khan, is the future more female-based in mechanical engineering? Love that. I think that it's the best time ever to be a woman in engineering or a woman in STEM, or not a white guy. I think that look at the team. Look at the team. I don't want a bunch of white guys on here. This is the era is over. Okay, the era is over. And so
me and Sadu, we're not minorities in STEM or engineering at all. Like what else is a brown man gonna do?
But if you look at leadership in engineering, you guys are still a minority. So we need more guys who look like you who are running the show. And I really believe in that, because McKinsey did a study, 30 years of data. Okay, teams outperform by 30. No, which one? Are they both 30? I can't remember, but it was like a whole bunch of data. I think it was 3 decades of data. Teams, it's only a coincidence that both of them are 30s. Teams outperform when you have women and just diverse teams who come from different places and think differently. They outperform homogenous teams, a bunch of people who look like me, because historically engineering is all a bunch of white guys, okay? That's just what it is, all right? They outperform by 30%, okay? So it's very important to have diversity on your team. It's very important to have women on your team, because my engineering, civil engineering, it was like 10% women, and it's not great. You know, there's interesting studies that Jordan Peterson talks about how when you give more and more women opportunities, you have less of interest in STEM fields. But I think there's so many women out there who, if they're exposed to it early enough, and you can't be what you can't see. And so you have, you know, like Barbies who are now like black astronauts. Like, that shit's fucking great to me, okay? And doing things like this, we are shifting this status quo over time. And so, yes, I do think that we're going to get, you know, NCon, we're going to get, that's their question. The future is more female-based, and not just mechanical engineering, but all engineerings. I do really think that's the case. So I'm optimistic about that, and I think it's a good situation. Let's see here. Anister, any suggestions on education paths for project management in mechanical engineering? Not really. I mean, just be a regular mechanical engineer, and just like what Grant was talking about, just like what we mentioned a couple times, is you need to express interest in being a leader and a project manager. There's really only 2 paths. You go technical avenue, or you manage projects, meaning you manage people, okay? So I just think you need to look for more leadership opportunities. You need to communicate as much as you can, and you need to build yourself a track where you're moving in that direction, instead of just being a stereotypical engineer who's going to go get their regular master's, you know, get your MBA potentially instead, things like this. Go out for leadership, like try to be president of your local American Society of Mechanical Engineers group and things like this. Start a club, you know, do all this type of stuff. Start a blog. Do leadership and founder things. Thank you so much, guys. I'm in this document. Thank you so much for the questions. And when I click, yeah, the stream brings up, I shouldn't be clicking on. I need to figure out how to make it so it's us the whole time. And when I click off of this, I think if I just do this and then switch back I don't want the stream to ever go over to the questions because I find it to be boring for you guys. I want it to be us. So let's see here. And next question is, any suggestions on? Oh no, that already hit that one. Tej, your question's coming up. Maddie B and Moombashir, thank you so much. Guys, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and smash that like button. Head over to the Discord channel and join our Discord. Create a new account in thangs.com, and that's our sponsor. So that's really going to help us. Thangs. Download Thangs right now. Okay, so Tej says,
It's a cool thing.
I like maths. I really want to make sure that yeah. I like maths. Oop, I just totally lost my thing. I like maths and physics, but I'm really not sure what I want to study. Do you have any advice and decide if I should study engineering? I mean, here's what you got to do. Go look at the video that we made about how to choose the right engineering major for you. There's like 3 or 4 different types. But basically, you need to audit your own attention and your actions and your own interests. You gotta look at where your interests are and pay attention to where you spend your time and like where you read, like what videos you watch and these types of things, because that is an indicator of what you like, and essentially just become what they call self-aware of your interests. Okay, that's the way is to start to look at like what books are you like, what TV shows and documentaries and YouTube channels, and like where do you spend your time, what gets you the most excited. It's a little bit of a gut check. Like you have to actually pay attention to what you like and actually start studying it. It's not easy. And usually people like 1% engineers, they actually have this normal problem where you are interested in too many things. And it's like this threat of picking the wrong major. Let me give you one final story about me, okay? My father was a carpenter, okay? That's where the civil engineering thing comes from. He could build anything he wanted. He just wasn't an engineer. He had a 2-year trade degree in carpentry. And if he was around today and found 1% engineer show, I guarantee you he would have been an engineer. Low-key plug. But also, what happened was I got really into like car stereo equipment and wiring things and building all this stuff when I was in high school. I actually thought maybe I should be an electrical engineer. And kind of like in a compulsively, when I applied, I like switched my whole life plan to be an electrical engineer on my application, and I was accepted into the electrical engineering program at the University of Delaware. And then something happened. I don't really have memories of the feelings, but I had this change of heart that summer, and I got in touch with the university and I switched back. It just felt wrong. I just knew I was going against my instincts. I was going against the plan. And so you kind of have to be self-aware, pay attention to where your interests are and things like that. But you have to trust your instincts deep down. That's really what it is. I have lost my document. I can't find our questions. Hold on, guys. A little patience will be fantastic. Okay, here it is. This is great. Thank you so much for that. Next questions are going to be Maddie B and Moombashir, and I'm probably going to go pretty soon. Girlfriend is back. So, hey, Leah. Generally speaking, Maddie B says, they can hear you on the internet, Leah. Generally speaking, what can I expect to do as a civil engineering intern here? So here you go, guys. Get your last questions in. I'm going to try to do a lightning round until 9:45. Get your last questions in. Go ahead and join the Discord. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. How many people have we had in here? I don't even want to worry about it right now. But, oh, snap. Okay. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm going to be a little more organized here in the future. Maddie B, generally speaking, what can I expect to do as a civil engineering intern after completing only 1 year of general engineering courses? I mean, whatever. Like, where you are in university barely even matters. I mean, it's a little harder. I wasn't able to get an internship after my freshman year. I don't think I really tried that hard. And I worked at a camp. I was a camp counselor. And I almost took a camp counselor job for the 3rd year in a row after my 2nd year of university, and then I landed something last minute because I reached out to friends and family, and they introduced me to an engineering office, by the way. That's how I got my first internship. It was somebody that my mom knew. My mom went to bat for me and emailed Bill Carroll. Shout out to you, Bill. And he emailed McCrone in Elkton, Maryland, and I got in. But honestly, it's just about doing that hustle. Are you willing to pick up the phone and call friends and family and email people? And you can even waltz right into offices and ask for virtual internships. I think asking for a virtual internship is the way to go during COVID. So it's just about the hustle. I think you can get it. You just got to try. I think freshmen, just like me, freshmen aren't confident enough to try, so they just don't even go try. And so, again, you ask for nothing, you get nothing. So that's just what it is. All right, let's do this grand finale questions. If you guys could drop anything that shows up in the next couple minutes in this document, that would be fantabulous. Okay, Mumashir, can you tell me about the most popular software used in civil engineering? Yeah, great, without question. So that's AutoCAD. So Autodesk releases a series of products. One is AutoCAD. The other one is called Civil 3D. Go ahead and watch videos on Civil 3D. Civil 3D is the ability to create cross sections, and you can build a road and show the super elevation. Think about a NASCAR track. It's not just a flat road. It's banked and things like that. So that's the softwares that I would learn. There's other ones that are very specific. So you will find that in engineering, as you go deeper and deeper down the niches, there are different softwares that specifically just for that. Like there's emission softwares in traffic, there's roundabout softwares, there's just capacity building softwares. And so once you kind of know a little bit more about where you want to go as like a civil engineer, then you can start to take a look at those softwares. So I'm going to go over to this chat real quick and do last couple questions. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really appreciated this live stream tonight. We almost went a full 2 hours. I want to do a big shout out to the board here. This is only about like 30% of our board. We got Hamza Wahid, who's been helping me for 3-4 years. He is a engineer at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Big ups to him. He's a really hard worker, director of operations. And Sadhu and him have been lifetime good friends. Sadhu is an engineer and a mechanical engineer and is really into this kind of intersection of cinematography, storytelling, and things like that. We've been doing some video editing, trying to figure some stuff out. And I think Sadhu is going to have a decent role here with this 1% engineer remote internship building thing. And last but certainly not least, we got Ashton in here, who is our director of Discord. So all of you who are in here because of Discord, Ashton is running the show over there, and I really appreciate all of the time and effort that he puts in there. We got 800 engineers, and if I go over there right now, which I think I actually have it open, what are we up to? I keep saying 800. Oh snap, we actually crossed 800.
Shout out to Tommy, Jared, Mr. T, and everybody who's on here. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, really, guys. It's been an awesome stream. Let's do a nice little grand finale, like lightning round chat. I don't know. If you get your question, I'm looking at the chat right now, guys. If you get your questions in the chat, I'm actually looking at it. If you get your questions in the chat, thanks, Alexandra. Go ahead and sign up for everything that you need to sign up for. I can't even think about what I'm trying to say for. Go to things, go to Discord, things like that. Make sure you subscribe. If you get your questions in right now, I will answer them. I'm only going to stream for a couple more minutes. But yeah.
Go follow the Instagram.
Go follow the Instagram. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do that. Sean, hey, what's up? Sean really helped. Really happy that you're here. We got to get you in a stream. We got Sean Mazer, who is also board member over there in Western Canada. Really cool guy. His dream is actually to work for the Canadian Armed Forces as an engineer. And even though you're not sure if it's going to work out, Sean, I still have a lot of optimism for you. I really believe that if you work on something, you believe in it, you really put it out there, and you manifest it.
We're here once a week. The live streams are once a week.
Yeah, once a week, every Thursday. Next live stream is going to be Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be bringing more people into the chat. Hamza is officially, I guess I didn't say that enough. Hamza was officially the co-host here, but I think we're going to have you as co-host again, Hamza, because we didn't figure out this audio thing properly. So we'll do another official co-host. That's probably why I never said it, because it didn't feel like co-host. No problem, Mr. T. This Terror, Hamza, no problem. Just doing some shout outs. Alexander, I really appreciated your questions. Robert Torres, thank you so much. Tommy McNix, thank you so much. Corbin, really appreciate you. Sam Postal, that was a really long struggle for me. Yeah, that's awesome. Sam Mumashir, thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate you guys. But yeah, not seeing any more questions. So I guess you guys are sufficiently filled up with engineering information. Again, this is the 1% Engineer Show, where we empower young engineers to rise to the top 1% engineer. So if this, for the top 1% of their career, so if this is you, make sure you hit the notification bell and subscribe. Check out the links below for access to the Discord channel. Thanks. The IG, I can't even talk, and all of that. I really want you guys guys to get into the Discord because I'm there. I'm chatting. Ashton's chatting. Helms is chatting, Sadhu's in there chatting, and we're like a family. We're like a community. This project was a sleepy little YouTube channel that started almost 4 years ago, and now we're about to cross the 70,000 mark. Got some sponsored projects, got a lot of cool things offering you guys virtual internships and everything else under the sun. Have a team now. This is amazing. We're doing lots of features, so reach out. Send me an email. Somebody drop, I guess I can chat in this. I'm going to drop, here's my personal email, hello@jakevoorhees.com. If you guys want to know anything, especially you UD engineer who was asking about that, send me an email. This is what it is. So thanks, guys. Really appreciated this live stream. I almost don't want to leave. But yeah, we'll see you again. Video tomorrow. It's going to be a really cool video about a biomedical engineer who worked at NASA and is now getting her second master's degree in aerospace engineering because she fell in love with NASA. She went to Cornell for biomedical engineering, which is an Ivy League school. So learn about that. A whole bunch of questions are coming in. Corbin, thank you so much. Glad. Yeah, I really liked your last name, Corbin. Join the Discord so I can see your last name even more. Panda Engineering, Civil Structural Engineering, good stuff. Love it. Kevin, why is the Trump not allowed in the White House? Because it's for Biden. I'm ending it on that. I love that. I love that. I can't wait. I'm here. My girlfriend also is a University of Delaware alum, so we're both so proud of this situation right now. I really like, Panda, that you're listening while programming. So see you again later. See you again in another video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Sean, love you, miss you. Hope you're doing okay. Hit me up if I can help you with anything. Grant, thank you so much for stopping by. Sam Postals. Hey, ladies for the win. Yeah, I know that you've been in the Discord so much. We got a good question about what is the future of mechanical engineering, more female? And I really liked talking about that. It happened about 20 minutes ago. Sam, I'd love to have you go check out that in the live stream. But get in the Discord, guys. We're going to maybe do some Discord guests. Let's maybe try to do like 1 or 2 Discord guests every live stream in the future or something. Have a lot of cool little ideas. How do I prove my soft skills? More detailed question written twice above. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. But I think send me an email, Jeremy. I'll give you a hack on that, and I can make sure that question. Can somebody, Hamza, can you copy paste that question for the first question for the next live stream? But essentially, how do you improve them? Communicate as much as possible.
What I said earlier, focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, one thing at a time. And if you want this thing to be the one thing, what you can do is you have to always be the one in your group projects who's offering to be the presenter. Look for opportunities to talk to people. Like go to more networking events and just walk up to people and talk to people. It's really hard, but the more you do something, the more you get better at it. Nobody was good at parallel parking the first time they did it, but after the 100th time, you stop freaking hitting that bumper, right? It's what it's really all about. And so you just got to go to as many networking events, find excuses to go to club and society things, and always just be talking to people. And when you say soft skills, communication to me is the only one that means the most. Okay, and so I can't really. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. Really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Panda.
Jeremy. So like one place I'd start is like on YouTube. Look up Charisma on Command.
Yes,
it's a good channel.
Yep.
Just go through some of their
program,
stuff.
Charisma University.
You do?
It's really good.
Isn't it $600? Oh, you got bootleg copy. I know you, Hamza. Look at that
Engineering.
Engineer your way to a solution. All right, guys, the 29. I can't believe there's still 29 people there. This is fantastic. I wonder what our peak load was. We had 800 people stop
45.
by. Yeah, nice. Well, I'll get a summary that even if it, yeah, very cool. 61 likes. This is great. Thanks again, guys. See you again in another video. Check out next live stream Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Ashton, thanks so much. Ashton's fan, thanks for coming out. Ashton's Closet, Hamza, and your yellow planet. Let's see tune in next week to see what color Hamza's room is. Sadhu, hope you're feeling all right over there. See you again in another video.
See if I made my bed next week.
Yep. Peace out, 1% Nation.